No one expected her to speak. No one imagined she ever would. For decades, the royal family buried the truth beneath tradition, silence, and carefully crafted narratives. But on a cold morning in London, Queen Camilla did the unthinkable. She stepped into a courtroom and broke her silence about the night Princess Diana died. What she confessed wasn't a simple apology. It was a chain reaction of secrets, surveillance, and decisions that changed royal history forever. The world had long speculated. Now it was finally hearing the truth. From the only person who could tell it. The air outside the royal courts of justice was unusually still that morning, until the sound of heels echoed across the ancient stone. Queen Camilla, dressed not in royal silk but in dark civilian navy, stepped from the black car without ceremony. No wave. No smile. No press statement. Just a woman carrying a truth that had waited 28 years to be spoken. Inside the courtroom, a storm was brewing. Legal reporters whispered nervously. Security was doubled. Cameras were prohibited, but every journalist knew what was about to happen would echo far beyond these walls. Until recently, the idea that the Queen Consort of the United Kingdom would voluntarily testify in the reopened investigation into Princess Diana's death would have been dismissed as tabloid fiction. But now it was real. And the world was watching. Presiding over the unprecedented hearing was Judge Richard Harrington, a man chosen specifically for his independence and unwillingness to bend under royal pressure. His voice rang out clearly. "Your Majesty, you have requested to speak before this tribunal. The floor is yours." Camilla didn't stand tall. She didn't carry herself with royal elegance. She looked tired, weathered, like someone whose crown had grown heavier than anyone knew. "I appear before this court today," she began, "not as Queen Consort, but as Camilla Parker Bowles, the woman I was in August 1997. The woman who made decisions that I cannot undo." A ripple of shock swept through the courtroom. Even the judge leaned forward. "For years," she continued, "I told myself what everyone else did, that it was an accident. A tragic accident. Caused by reckless photographers and an unfortunate driver. But that version of events omits something I can no longer carry." The room held its breath. "I never wanted Diana to die," Camilla said, her voice breaking slightly. "But I did want her silenced. And I took steps to ensure it." At that moment, the past slammed into the present like a freight train. Speculations that had circulated for decades were no longer whispers. They had become admissions. Not of murder, but of something just as haunting: complicity. Camilla detailed how, in the summer of 1997, she had asked a former intelligence contact to monitor Diana's communications. Not to harm her, she emphasized, but to anticipate damaging revelations. But that decision, she admitted, set off a chain of events she could no longer control. "I believed I was protecting the monarchy," she said quietly. "But I was really protecting myself." Gasps. Pens scribbled frantically. Across the Atlantic, royal commentators went live with breaking headlines. "Queen Camilla testifies," they said. "Royal secrets revealed." But none of them could have predicted what she'd say next. Turning toward the gallery, Camilla spoke slowly. "To William. To Harry. You deserved the truth long before today. And I am so sorry." She took a breath, trembling. "What happened in that Paris tunnel should never have happened. And while I did not crash that car, I created the storm around it." The judge called for silence as the courtroom erupted. It was official. The Queen of England had just confessed to influencing events that led to the death of the world's most beloved princess. As Queen Camilla continued, her voice steadied, but the courtroom remained frozen in disbelief. "In the summer of 1997, she said, I became increasingly alarmed by Diana's relationship with Dodi Fayed. Not because of jealousy, as some might assume, but because of what Diana knew. About Charles. About me. About the royal household." She paused, eyes heavy. "I feared she might speak publicly, about things that had been buried for years." To prevent this, Camilla confessed, she reached out to a trusted intermediary. A former British intelligence officer who had discreetly handled sensitive royal matters before. She asked him to monitor Diana's interactions in Paris. "No harm," she said. "Just oversight." But things quickly spiraled. The operative, according to Camilla's testimony, enlisted Henri Paul, then head of security at the Ritz Hotel. Paul had reportedly accepted money in the past for information about guests. This time, however, he was asked to do more than report. He was urged to alter Diana's route and to encourage a fast escape from the paparazzi. "I didn't ask for that," Camilla clarified. "But I didn't stop it either." In her own words, she had lit a match in a room full of dry straw and left without checking for flames. The tragic night unfolded with a cruel precision. Diana and Dodi, urged to use the back exit. Henri Paul, intoxicated, driving at reckless speed. Paparazzi in pursuit. A crash in the Alma tunnel that ended 3 lives and shattered the world. "I remember hearing the news," Camilla said. "Not as a royal. Not even as Charles's partner. But as a woman. And I knew something had gone horribly wrong." The courtroom was silent, every eye locked on her. But the most damning revelations were still to come. In the hours after the crash, Camilla didn't call Charles, or the palace. She called the same intelligence contact. "I needed to know," she admitted. "How much could be traced back to me?" What followed, she explained, was a cover-up that stretched across borders. Evidence redirected. Files vanished. Witnesses re-interviewed. The narrative was sculpted. Henri Paul's blood alcohol level, the paparazzi's recklessness, Diana's refusal to wear a seatbelt. All of it, she said quietly, was useful. Convenient. But not the whole truth. When asked by the judge why she hadn't come forward earlier, Camilla hesitated. "Because I told myself it was done. That it couldn't be undone. That silence was loyalty. That denial was protection. But lies rot everything they touch. Even crowns." The courtroom murmured again, a restless hum of disbelief and reckoning. Then came the most chilling part. The breaking point. Camilla revealed that a few weeks earlier, her granddaughter Charlotte had asked Prince William, "Why don't we ever talk about Grandma Diana?" And more heartbreakingly, "Did Granny Camilla do something bad to her?" "That," Camilla said, tears in her voice, "was when I knew the silence had to end." The courtroom remained silent for nearly a full minute after Queen Camilla finished speaking. Not a murmur. Not a shuffle. Just the sound of the judge exhaling deeply as he removed his glasses. "I will take this testimony under serious advisement," he finally said, his voice steady. "And I commend your majesty for your candor. The court will recess until further notice." As Camilla stepped down from the witness stand, she no longer looked like a queen, but like a woman who had laid down a lifelong burden. Her eyes did not seek sympathy. Only silence. Outside, the world reacted with a kind of stunned reverence. Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace, laying flowers not for Camilla, but for Diana, once again. The hashtag Justice for Diana trended worldwide within minutes. Commentators called it the most historic royal confession since the abdication crisis of 1936. At Kensington Palace, Prince William issued a brief but piercing statement. "My mother deserved the truth. My children deserved clarity. I'm grateful to Her Majesty for offering both." It was the first time he had publicly referred to Camilla by her royal title. Prince Harry, speaking from California, was more guarded. "What matters now is that the world sees what we lived through. The pain, the silence, the unanswered questions." He added, "Truth is a beginning, not an end." Inside Parliament, voices clashed. Some MPs called for legal action. Others questioned whether Queen Camilla could continue in her role. Prime Minister Ellis simply stated, "No one, royal or not, is above the law." At the palace, King Charles reportedly spent the day behind closed doors. Sources described him as stunned, quiet, and visibly shaken. He had known Camilla would testify, but not the full scope of her admission. In the days that followed, a formal inquiry was launched into the 1997 crash, this time under independent oversight. Camilla remained in seclusion at Balmoral, issuing no further comment. But the real change wasn't legal. It was emotional. For the first time in nearly 3 decades, the narrative surrounding Diana's death had shifted from accident to accountability. And with that, a quiet reckoning began. One not just for a family or a monarchy, but for a nation that had long mourned without answers. Some said Camilla had destroyed the crown. Others argued she had saved it, by choosing truth over image. But perhaps the real legacy would not be in the headlines or the courtrooms, but in the eyes of 2 princes, finally given the truth about the mother they lost. The truth may have come too late to change the past, but it might just reshape the future. What Queen Camilla revealed has shaken the monarchy to its core and left the world questioning everything it thought it knew. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us for more untold truths the world deserves to hear.